Level Up Podcast with Shay, S-H-E-A, the only Shay you know, the real one. Everybody else is fake. Level Up with Shay Podcast. We are here with two of our coaches today, and we're going to get some information, but also find out who they are and what they do. Before we do that, why don't you hit that subscribe button? It helps us out and helps you out to stay informed as well. So hit the subscribe button, a little tap, and we'll see you back right when we get done. All right, so we have Coach Crane, and we have, you go by Coach J, right? But you should go by Coach who?
Mr. Coach Jones.
Oh, Coach Jones, okay. Well, they go by Coach J. Okay, so both of them are here. Both are new coaches within a year or two, taking over varsity programs. And so we just want to find out about how the experience has been. So number one, we'll go with Coach J. The biggest transition from middle school to high school coaching. One thing.
More time.
Time.
Yeah, it was 6 days a week during the school year, during the season. Oh man, the summer's a little bit tough.
Okay, all right. Coach Crane, coming from boys JV to varsity boys, one thing that's been the biggest change.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Coach.
Okay.
Just the time commitment.
Yeah.
Because you're over the whole program, so it's a year-round job.
Yeah.
Being a varsity head coach.
Yeah.
I did volleyball. Volleyball was building the program up. Basketball a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's year-round.
Mm-hmm.
So the commitment.
Okay. All right. And if you could say this in the order of importance: parents, school, administration, yourself. What has been the biggest hurdle for you as a coach? We'll go with Coach Crane first.
Man, my administration was very supportive.
Okay.
I pretty much they give me the keys to run my program how I see fit. So my biggest challenge probably is getting the buy-in from all the parents.
Okay.
Culture change, new culture change.
Yeah.
Standards change, expectations. So that would probably be my biggest challenge that I'm currently working on, is getting all the parents to buy in what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
High school.
And buy-in is not always do they agree, but just can they agree with what you are doing, whether it's practice, whether it's a game, whether it's food, whether it's snacks, whatever those things, just buy into what we're praying. Okay. So for you.
I think the same thing. I think my biggest hurdle would come in with the culture changes, getting study hall. That was a real big thing. But they didn't have it before I got there.
Okay.
Just getting them to do, we go 2 hours because I don't want them to go home.
Okay.
We feed them. I feel like you're getting the best of both worlds. Get your work done, and also I get volunteer hours because of my business. So I give volunteer hours because I got my own tutoring and mentoring business. So try to help out on that end when they need to get down to 12th grade and need some hours. They already had some from playing basketball and tutoring and helping their teammates out.
That's smart.
So that was one big hurdle, but rather than that, not bad.
Okay. Do you feel, either of you feel that coaching girls, the level of attention, the level of anticipation, but also the level of growth is different from girls and boys basketball?
I think it's a little bit better than the boys right now, because they're not more athletic, but I think they're more smart.
Okay.
And they pay attention to detail. I think that's a great trait they have in female basketball. Whatever you draw up or whatever you work on, they do remember it quicker. And that just be from when I was coaching boys. It was a little bit longer process, but and I think right now I just think they play hard. That's my personal opinion. I think the girls play hard.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Coach. I still work with girls as camps and stuff, man. It's just so much better, man. Especially when you get girls that can play basketball.
Right.
Just the basketball.
Yeah.
It just looks so much better. And the communication, they enjoy it, they love it. When you get that, I guess that upper half of girls that really want to take that game to the next level, there's a buy-in, there's a commitment.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
With boys, just want to hoop. That's
want to
all
hoop.
they want to do. Yeah.
They just want to shoot.
And the gap is so easy. I tell the boys the gap is so easy to separate yourself because everybody's doing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Right. So for the boys, the separation factor, I would definitely say, is the work ethic. Where the girls, like that top group, all of them are working hard. But with the boys, maybe have the top 10% that's really dedicated dedicated to working on their craft.
So the girls may not have all the athleticism that the boys have, dunking and all those other things. Some of them may do that. But as far as their work ethic to get better, because boys probably feel like, I play basketball, so I'm good. I don't have a lot to work on. And they want to do all the things in the street, quote unquote, that they see everybody else doing, or on TV, or in the NBA, or college, or whatever. They feel like I can do that too, instead of listening to my coach at what's best for the team. So as we transition to the next question about being on a team, about boys versus girls, how do you feel I would say the level of competition when it comes to going to college versus not going to college? How do you have those conversations with student athletes that are seniors or juniors? How do you have those conversations with them?
Yeah.
On what level they should be on, not where they think they should be, what level they should be on.
Yeah, I think it's changed over the last few years, especially with the transfer rules and stuff like that. So my conversation recently with parents and a couple of my seniors, like, is this something that you really want to do? Because on the boys' side, especially on the girls' side too, the JUCO is a plug and play now. Like, it's not what it used to be when we played ball. Where you go work on your game, couple of years, like those coaches are getting paid on wins and losses and the connections they make to these universities.
Yeah.
So if you can't come in and write play like you would do on a D1 or D2 level, it's rough.
Yeah.
So now you got to try to get a post grad, try to work on my game, especially if you still need to develop. A kid is 17, still body wise, different.
Yeah.
So my conversation, go back to your question, is like, is this something that you really want to do? Right? Do you want to try to go to school for free, get a degree? Are you trying to take it to another level, overseas, or whatever? Like, what is it? What's
that
the
you want to
end
do?
game? What's the end game?
Yeah.
You let me know the end game, and
I can help you.
I can't spend my time with coaches calling me, or you want me to contact coaches, and then we get to that point where you need to make a decision. You're like, oh no.
Right. Yeah. Now you feel like you wasted your time.
Wasting my time.
Yeah.
Wasting my time.
What would you say, Coach?
I think the same, but I know for me personally, every year since I've been at Glen Island, I done had at least one college coach come in, watch us practice or work out depending on the time period, and they talk to them and let them know things have changed, and you just have to be ready for what level you think you might be at, but the coach may say, hey, this might be where you need to go to first, and also let parents know. We go to the live period now. I don't think a lot of girls was going there because they just made it probably like 4 or 5 years ago. I know last year we played Bullets. They was the number 15 team in the country. And I had a lot of kids that came. They thought they was D1, D2. They had 4 or 5 D1s, 2 USA kids. And we lost by 30. Quick though. It was really like
quick.
First half. But I tried to tell them it's a different atmosphere. And again, y'all can play definitely in Richmond. But when you go into that D1 level, it's a lot more, players that's, gifted and physically, bigger. So just let them see that aspect as well. I think that's a big old eye-opener for my parents. They see that and say, hey, I got my kid get D3 calls, D2 calls. That might be really their level.
Yeah.
So just let them see that way as well. So that's just something I feel like we're going to do for as long as I'm there.
Okay. And that brings to the next question I want to talk about is parents, understanding levels, right? So as you said, you went to the camp or the live period, and maybe some of the young ladies thought that they were higher than where they were, and the competition level was like, oh my God, I'm probably not that good, right? You have boys, and boys always think they D1. I don't care how many shots they miss. I don't care how many layups they miss. I don't care that they 55% from the free throw line. Most boys think they D1 because they're on the basketball team, and I made the varsity basketball team, right? So having those conversations and how it's important to know what level you're on and what level you should be on. What is one thing that you can let a student that's watching or that will watch know about being honest with themselves? You can have that conversation with a parent all day long. A parent gonna ride with their child. We all know that. Well, coach said this, but I know he don't know what he talking about because I seen you play in the yard when there's no defense. And you made all the shots because you sat out there for 3 hours. You know what I'm saying? So how do you have that conversation with that student? What is one thing that you try to get around or get over to that student athlete about being honest with, like you say if this is what you really want to do, should you do that? But what is the one thing that you can break down to a student athlete that's watching to understand their level?
I think honestly, in the summer, especially June, I don't think a lot of parents understand. June is supposed to be high school and going to elite camps.
Okay.
You know, go to a D3, D2, and D1. I tell all my kids go to at least one of those throughout June
Okay.
to even some in July and August. But in that June month, try to go to 3, go to D3, go to D2, and go to D1 and see the different levels. And see where where you think you can play at, and where you may have to work a little bit harder during the next school year so you can get better. And then just also, if you already have people calling you and looking at you, whoever calling you the most, that's probably your level. That's
Yeah.
honest. If D3
Who's
is
calling
calling
you
you all
most?
the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
that's where you probably are. But
Yeah.
you want to go to a situation where they love you, they want you there. You just don't want to go nowhere because they didn't get this other kid and you're the next person on the totem pole.
Yeah.
You want to go where you want. So that's the main advice I give my kids and their parents.
Okay, that's good. What would you say, Coach Quinn?
Yeah. I try to be nice with it, but my question is, how many coaches have called you in the last month or reached out to you
Personally?
So,
oh, right. Oh,
your inbox.
because that personal
Send
thing
me
is
a
different.
person.
Yeah.
Hey, I get camp letters all the time. You gotta pay $450 for it.
Yeah,
If you paying for a camp, I be telling parents, like, I'm on the campsite. I'm in that business. That's what I do. Right? We send a lot of letters out. We try to get the best talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I tell my kids that want to be recruited.
Yeah.
I ask them, have any coaches reached out to you during your AU period, your live period? Who's called you?
The most.
Yeah, who's called? If
anybody. If anybody's
yeah,
called
if
you at
anybody.
all. Yeah.
The second thing is when we look at stats. I'm a numbers guy. I look at stats, right? And I say, well, your stats are not meeting up. You're not even leading the team in these categories, and you want to be a point guard. You want to be a shooting guard, right?
Oh, good point.
Right? You want to be a shooting guard, but you're not shooting 7 or 8 free throws a game, like getting to the line. Your free throw percentage is below 80%. And I break down these numbers and I pull up a college number or whatever. Or one thing I love to do too is I ask them to pull up a college roster, right? I say, well, look at your size. If you're 5'10", I want you to find any D1 roster and count how many 5'10" players they got on that team. So I do stuff like that. One year I asked a player. I told them, bring me a list of 5 colleges, and we're gonna look at their rosters, and we're gonna see if your game is similar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Match that. Yeah.
They got now.
Yeah.
So I try to make them do the work so they can see it themselves. And most of the time the parents are delusional as usual.
Correct.
I don't know what. So that part ain't gonna never change.
Right.
And I tell parents, I'm in the business. Like, I know what's going on.
Right, what's going on, yeah.
Money
and I think the thing with that is, too, is you both have leagues and teams and organizations. So you're an AAU coach. I mean, you were AAU, but now you have more of a business organization where you bring people in. And you see a lot of different things. You go to AAU, you see a lot of different talent. And for parents, as we talk about parents, because we have to bring them into the equation because their kid can't do anything without them, right? Because they're still kids. One of the things I used to tell my parents when I had students that were being recruited, number one is, does your child want to go? That's number one, like you already said. Number two, what level does he or she want to put the work into to go? That's number two. And then I would also tell them, yes, grades really is number one because you have to get in. But if we just put grades at the end here somewhere, do they have the grades to get into the school, but to stay at the school because of the level of academic rigor is required as an athlete, not just as a basketball player. I ran track. I mean, it's as an athlete, period, in college, as you know that. Like, where are you at on that level? Because even a D3 school, people don't understand. So I go D3, I'm not going there. The rigor in some of those D3 schools is more than some of D2 and D1 schools. So I don't want to go there. That's beneath me. But are they looking at you in D1? No. So parents, I tell you this, I'm going to look at you and say this. Please understand, number one, the grade requirement. If John has a 2.5 in high school And a 2.3 is required to get into a D1 scholarship. John would probably have a hard time at D1, keeping up and staying up with school, let alone get up on time when the coach tells him to. Number 2, be honest with yourself and your kids and their level. They both have said the exact same thing. Know the level of potential, but also the level that your kid can play. Number 3, when you know that level and you know your kid, look at your kid at home. What are they doing at home that you don't have to tell them to do? If you got to say, go call Coach Crane, open the gym up, they don't want to go to the gym. If you got to say, call Coach J, ask if he can get some shots, if he can go to the weight room, you don't want to go there because you have to tell them to do those things. Between the age of 13, sometimes 12, to 16, if you got to tell that kid to go forth with the sport that they like, they're probably not going to get that level of play when they get to be 17 and it's time to go to college, right? So, parents, understand the level where your child is at. I love y'all. You're important in their life. But don't send them down a rabbit hole that they can't find themselves at. Because now, with the NILs, which we're about to go next, the NIL deals and all those things, yes, kids are getting paid to go and getting paid to play and all that. You still got to have the skill and you still got to have the grades. And that transfer portal is popping. So they don't even have to take you out of high school. So the JUCO might be the next route because you can still go D1, D2, D3, whatever you want to go, or the D3 may be the route now to get you up to the next level. But they're also putting limits on rosters. They got cutoffs now. Because why? We can't pay 40 people no more. We might can pay 25, but we don't have money for 40 because now everybody want money, right? Everybody want money, right? It's just like playing AAU or whatever. You know, parents, y'all put money out into that. Uncle John's third cousin now got a team. And you just put him on that team because it's an AAU team. But is the team really helping them? But is John, just going on team because Uncle got a team now? No offense on Uncle Ball and Uncle Daddy. None of that. But just be real with yourself and your child. Okay, we're going to transition to if you were to say that a person or a basketball person, it could be any sport, has mentored you the most, who would you say? It doesn't have to be basketball. It could just be life, a life person, a life mentor. It could be a teacher. It could be,
Yeah, I try to have a mentor for every area of my life.
Of your life, got it. That's smart.
Marriage, coaching, teaching. So I try to call them at least, twice a month.
Okay.
Check in on me.
Okay.
We do some book reads together.
Cool.
Like that. The mentor I've been talking to the most is a couple of them. My basketball mentors. One is in the league. He's a GM for a team, and I call him often to bounce ideas or ask him some things that I would need to do to change the culture.
Okay.
That's my biggest thing. That's my goal. My motto this year is changing the culture, raising expectations. So I think getting those things in place, the basketball stuff is gonna come.
Okay.
So he's the one I've been, talking to the most about that.
Excellent. Okay. Who would you say?
I got a few. If you talking about like just growing up,
Just in anything and that's helped you to get to the point where you are right now. Who would you say is your biggest one?
I feel like everybody had their time. I think it's Coach Lancaster for sure. Coach Randolph and Verona, Coach Demetrius, all them had me for AU, Coach Fitz, and then Kanal White, strong legend. You, when it came, just grooming me and helping me see things from a different side. And I really appreciate everybody. Cause I still talk to all of them every day.
Okay.
Not every day, but we still talk.
Right.
When you need something, when you need something,
When I need something, they never turn their back. And then like I had one teacher, Miss Porsche, Shamil Porsche, like those people I talk to every day help me grow from a child, a young man to who I am today. So
okay, awesome. So I'm gonna segue that to one of the things you can tell a young person. So I used to tell the kids all the time, you never know who you're gonna run into and who you're gonna need. You never know that teacher, that person, that mentor, that mentee, whoever it is that you run into that may run your name and they have something bad to say about you, right? No one is perfect. We're not saying you gotta be perfect out here because kids, I'm not telling you how to be perfect. But how important is it to build relationships for later? Because kids don't understand that. How important is it to build relationships for later? Later could be 3 years, it could be 5, it could be 10. How important is it to build relationships for later?
It's very important. I tell my kids, that's something I work with all the kids I deal with a lot of kids. Just speaking.
Speaking.
It means
yes, God.
Saying how you doing.
God.
You don't
Jesus.
have to just walk past.
Walk past, yes.
They don't understand a lot of my relationships came off that because, I had a few people say, hey, nobody spoke to me, or I had a few people that never will even say something to me. So it's very important because it's going to help you get to wherever you want to be in the long run.
Yeah.
Just being genuine and also just being, I call it being different.
Different.
Like I said, everybody not outgoing when it comes to speaking.
Right, okay.
But you have to have that conversation. And you got to get to know somebody.
Get somebody knows.
Because, again, what somebody say about anybody might not be true to you. As long as you get to know that person, maybe a whole new perspective on that.
I like that. Okay, what would you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty back off coach. The speaking thing is big because during my summer camps, when Mama working the front, Mama Jasper working the front, you better speak to her. Okay. Second grade.
She right, yeah.
She be like, do you not see me here?
Right.
And so even with the older kids, they come and they don't speak. She check everybody at the door. So that's a good point because kids think they're too cool. Or
Yeah.
Walk by, like I just didn't buy you lunch yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
So my kids are doing. That's probably half and half. My basketball kids, they come in the morning, come to the office. What up, coach? And keep it moving. At least poke their head in.
At least say something.
At least say something in the morning. That's real big to me.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. I'm like, man, my boy spoke to me this morning.
Right. Yeah.
My leaders came in. At least.
Yeah.
But then I can see like some of my kids that maybe play or don't play. I mean, I'm in the gym or the classroom every day. They might not say a word to me till practice. They
really?
see me 2 or 3
times a day. Wow.
Right, and be the first one to ask, ask me something. I'm like, yo, you just seen me.
Right.
But man, I think building relationships is I wish I would have known this secret.
Yeah.
Earlier.
Yeah.
And, you can tell. Especially going to HBCU, that's all it is relationships.
Oh, that's it.
That's
it. All day, every day.
I went to 2 of them, so it's like, man, first thing you go on campus, you can see the separation factor, the MBA students, and all these internships, it's because they knew how to move differently. Than me, And then when I got on to game, I'm like, oh shoot. I can start building some relationships. And like Coach said, genuine relationships. Not because we want something. Right. Because we want to actually build our network and offer some value first, right?
Yeah.
So when I come into relationships, and my mom says like, man, how can I help this person, right?
Yeah.
How can I help them? What they do. They may be way successful in anything, but they may be help in something. Yeah. You never know. So I come into new relationships at my age is, man, how can I be of value to this organization or somebody?
I like that. So, student athletes, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Open your mouth. You see me walking by. You see coach walking by. You see coach walking by. You see your teacher walking by the office. Don't turn your head to look away when they walk past so you don't have to speak. I say this to adults all the time. I'm not the boogeyman or whatever, the scary person. I speak to everybody. My thing is, how you doing? How you doing? And I keep walking. I don't got to hold a long conversation, but I acknowledge people, right? Kids feel like they don't have to do that because they're not my coach. They're not my coach, but somebody may ask somebody that's not your coach about you and may need a reference. So speak. Be genuine though, but open your mouth. All right, we're going to wrap up. One thing to leave to anyone aspiring to play basketball or any sport in college. One word. Any sport in college, it doesn't have to be basketball, it could be football, it could be soccer, whatever. One word to a student athlete if they want to go to college. One word.
Can I say 3?
One. Work. We can put work hard, so that's kind of hyphen. Work hard. Okay, work hard. All right. Hyphen, work hard. All right. What you got, Coach?
Man, I would say my word.
One coach. You not know how you do. We need one.
Committed.
Committed. Work hard and be committed. And we out. Level up.